What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. First of all, before I even start this episode, I just want to say and give a huge thank you guys for subscribing. I just realized we're over 100 subscribers. I appreciate you guys so much. So much. Let's get to that 200, then to that 1,000, that thou wow, and carry on from there. Hopefully get to do this full time, but it all depends on you guys hitting that like, comment, and subscribe button. I appreciate you guys. This video is going to be about, is it a good idea to start on the 600? Stay tuned. What's up, guys? Alright, so is the 600cc class bike a good bike to start on? Really depends on the person. Is it doable? Yes. I know plenty of people that started on 600s. Is it recommended? No, it's not recommended. Why is it not recommended? Because of the power. Motorcycles with over 100 horsepower, they have this stigma that the power isn't manageable. You've got to be mature to be able to handle it, yada, 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 which is true. So the power falls into both categories, in my opinion. It falls under a pro and it falls under a con. A pro being that there's power accessible throughout any gear. It's not a leader bike by any means where you have absolute crazy carnage of power throughout every gear, every RPM. Pro, you have power accessible throughout whichever gear, and with great power comes great responsibilities. It really does, because if you have no respect for a bike, for the power that the bike has, you're setting yourself up for disaster. Like the power. the power. You have to be a certain amount of mature to start off on the 600. Yes, there's power. They go high speeds, 150, 160 miles per hour. It's not ideal for beginners to start on because it encourages riders to develop bad habits and, behaviors. And now that brings me to a con of having all this power. There's a lot of power. That in itself is a con. If you don't respect the bike and you don't have that level of maturity yet, you're gonna find yourself in some trouble. Whether that's with the law or speeding, you're gonna fall, you're gonna hurt yourself, you're gonna hurt somebody else on the road. You can unalive yourself too, really easily. So like I said, the speed, the power goes into pro and the con, depending on the type of person that you are. And let's be honest, everybody wants to start off on something that sounds like this, as opposed to a lawnmower with a can of beans attached to the exhaust. So I don't blame them. My second point is the learning curve that you're gonna have when starting on a higher CC bike. When you're starting on the 600, on the 1,000, whatever floats your boat. If you start on a smaller displacement bike, on a smaller CC bike, you're gonna learn a lot quicker the fundamentals of riding, and you're gonna pick them up. You're gonna hopefully develop some good habits, some good skills, as opposed to starting on a 600 or a 1,000. A lot of it has to do too with the bike itself, how it weighs, when it's got a full tank of gas, all the oils. This bike weighs a little over 400 and something pounds. I don't know, 430, 435 or something like that. I'll post it up. Whereas a 300 or a 400 or even a 500 are a lot lighter, a lot more nimble, a lot more forgiving. When you make a oopsie, you accidentally do one of these on the 300, yeah, you're gonna jolt forward a little bit, but it's nothing compared to on the 6,000. I mean, on the 600, imagine the 6,000cc bike. Jeez, it's nothing like you would on the 600 or on the leader bike, where these can you'll automatically wheelie and loop the bike and hurt yourself. That's a lot of bikes over at Cycle Gear. Sorry, I got distracted. Bikes distract me. I know I'm not the only one. Give me that gas. I love the way it smells. I can drink this. I can eat it. I am at one with gasoline. Got S1K. Okay. So like I was saying, the learning curve. You have more room for error on a smaller CC bike, point blank period. You could hurt yourself. I mean, shit, you can unalive yourself on a smaller displacement bike. But if you're a smart rider and you wear all the gear all the time, more often than not, you should be fine. Nice bike. I'm losing my train of thought here. So as I was saying, a smaller CC bike is more forgiving to the mistakes that you're going to do, because you're gonna make mistakes. It weighs less, you'll be able to pick it up a lot easier than you would a bigger bike. You get to practice the right technique of how to pick up a bike when you drop it. You'll be able to learn how to maneuver a bike a lot easier than you would a bigger bike. My inner thoughts, my inner demons are telling me to just tell them to lower this real quick so I can just jump on top. Anyways, I'm losing track. Oh my goodness, my ADD is on full effect today. You gain confidence on a smaller bike. You can do that on a larger bike. You definitely can. It's just gonna take a little longer. Like I said, this bike is heavier and a little bit more aggressive, and it's ergonomics. That takes me to point number 3, ergonomics. On the beginner bike, albeit if you know we're not talking about the Yamaha R7, which the ergonomics are a little aggressive on that bike, even for a beginner's bike. When you're starting on a 300, 400, 500, shit, even a 650, like the Ninja 650, you're more upright than you are leaned over in a super aggressive sporty position like you would on a large displacement bike. So you'll be a lot more comfortable going on longer rides with the motorcycle of that caliber. Whereas opposed on a bike like this, you know, after a couple of hours, I haven't experienced it yet, but you can start getting some back pain. I don't really get back pain. The only thing that starts to bother me a little bit are my knees, and that's it. So ergonomics are actually better on the smaller bike than they are on the bigger bike. So in terms of being comfortable, you'll definitely be more comfortable on a smaller bike than you would be on the bigger bike, especially as a new rider. Point number 4. Point number 4 is the cost of maintenance. I am going to assume that it costs a little bit more to maintain a larger displacement bike than it is, you know, a 300 or 400. So let me take that back, because that's me assuming. One thing I will tell you though is your insurance, the cost to insure your bike. If you're young and you're looking to buy a bike like this, a 600 or a 1000, be prepared to be by insurance companies. But if you're a little older like I am and you have a semi-good driving record, then that's not really something you really have to worry about. Albeit, you know, sometimes like it still doesn't even make a difference, because it really depends, I guess, what state you're insuring the bike. Like I'm in New York, where they steal these type of bikes left and right. They steal these bikes everywhere. So the cost of me insuring this type of bike is actually pretty expensive. I'll give you an example. For this bike, I had a couple of insurance companies quoting me upwards of almost $300 a month to insure this bike. 2024 Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R. My girlfriend bought a motorcycle. She bought the CF Moto 450 SS that you see in my other videos, and her insurance is only like, I think like $15 or $30 a month. So we ended up doing something where we put, you know, the cars, the house is all under the same insurance, and I went from them charging me like $275 or $375 to paying only like $56 a month, from $275, $375 a month. I'm willing to bet insuring a smaller bike is not going to be that expensive. Distracted over here. Power, ergonomics, insurance, so pretty much the cost of the bike. Takes me down to another point, the cost of the actual bike. We have 300s, 400, 500s that cost just a couple of $1,000, $3, $4, $5 grand. You know, like CF Moto's 450 SS, I think it starts at like $5 grand. And that's a 450, and it comes with Brembo brakes and a whole bunch of goodies. Thank you. Thank you. That moves Sue. Yeah. You too. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I lost my train of thought. The cost of the bike. Yes. So we got, you know, beginner friendly bikes are within that lower range of a couple of $1,000s, as opposed to this bike being, you know, 5 figures, 10, 11, 12, brand new, out of the dealer is what I'm saying, out the door. But the cost of the bike, obviously, you know, is an expense, especially if you're taking a loan or you're coughing up that big chunk of change to buy yourself a motorcycle. If you can afford it, cool. And if you're mature enough, cool. Even better. And back to what I was saying, so it really depends on the... Oh, buddy. It really depends on the type of person who's looking to buy their beginner bike. Like I said before in the beginning of the video, depends on your level of maturity and all that stuff. You know, responsibilities. Just be smart financially, and be smart with your safety. How I would recommend it is first buy the gear and then buy the bike. A lot of people just buy the bike before buying the gear, and they drop all this money on the bike and then buy the cheapest gear that they can find, and you know, then they have their first incident and this guy's flying. They have their first incident and they become road crayons because the cheap material on their gear didn't last. If you're gonna cheap out on some gloves and cheap out on some like hoodies, jackets, vest, pants, at least get a decent pair of riding boots or shoes and a helmet. Buy a good helmet. But see, now that's besides the point. Now I'm losing track of the video. If you're somebody, or you know somebody that's looking to start on the 600, what's their driving record like? How do they treat their cars? Do they never wash their car? Do they get into car accidents? Do they get into a lot of fender benders? Because if they do, when you do, don't get a bike. Do not get a motorcycle. You're going to be a hazard to yourself and a hazard to everybody else on the road. You're going to go on a group ride with some people and you're just going to not know how to act. You can't refrain yourself from trying to speed up and be, you know, ahead of everybody and try to keep up with everybody. You're gonna get yourself killed, or you might just end up unaliving somebody, killing somebody else. And you know that's how life works. It's always the person who causes the accident that freaking lives, and it's always the innocent person that passes away. So don't be that guy or girl. Be mature in your decision. Back to what I was saying, is the 600cc a good starter bike? Like I was saying throughout the entire video, it really depends on the rider. Depends on who's looking, who's asking, who's trying to buy. If you're mature enough to respect the bike and have some fear, then yes. If you're not, if you're a little immature, and you have no respect to life, no respect to anything, stay away. Get yourself a little 300. If you mess your cars up, stay away. Just don't get a bike. With that being said, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. Have any of you guys started on the 600? If you have, drop a comment. If you started on something bigger than the 600, you're crazy. Drop it in the comments. I want to see what you guys started on. Until then, peace!